They try to arrest him. EDF tries to arrest God, and God resists arrest.
It's the best part of the game and is literally the last mission. How's it going, people? Jack here with another reaction. So today I'll be checking out a video from Seth that dropped yesterday on Earth Defense Force 5. And I just gotta say, this one is on my top 5, I'd say, yeah, definitely, of like anime type game of all times. Because usually you have your typical culprit, right? You have your personas, your yakuza that depict the average life in Japan. School, karaoke, gacha, gang warfare, you know, your average slice of life. But when you want to feel that true power fantasy, you turn your gaze towards like Dynasty Warrior or EDF, like games that will give you that sensory overload because you're most likely going to be lying down on the ground, having an epileptic seizure because of all the flashing light and numbers that just fly through your face. Now, last year, Badger did cover Earth Defense 4.1, which I haven't played, but the fifth one is my personal favorite because I played that, completed that to 100%. And the comparison is pretty simple. In Earth Defense 4, you get to fight a bunch of monsters, the typical thing, and some big-ass kaijus, right? Some of Godzilla's brothers. You still do the same here in Earth Defense Force 5, but here you get to kill God. Clearly, the fifth one is better. Anyways, without further ado, let's just jump into the review.
Hey people, Seth here.
Starship
I'm doing
Troopers.
my part. Are you? The world is a bad place, and unfortunately, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. No, seriously, look out your window.
Uh-oh. Sure.
You are now a member of the Earth Defense Force. Yesterday, you were just a civilian forklift operator, / technician, / mall cop, / whatever this is. But regardless, God is coming back to Earth. He wants to make it a better place to live.
Nameless.
A world free of pollution, free of microplastics, free of violence. Well, okay, not that one. But hey, that's 2 out of 3. Was there anything else? Oh yeah, free of humans.
Yeah, humanity's
you guys
gone.
need to go. Now, what are you gonna do about it? You're gonna do your part. With conflict comes war, and with war comes the dreaded draft. But I've got a tip just for you. You can't get drafted if you get enlisted.
Oh my
Enlisted
god.
is a World War II themed multiplayer shooter with a strong focus on historical authenticity. Where
It's kind of hilarious that he brought Enlisted and had Starship Troopers in the beginning, because Starship Troopers is basically the quintessential example of, or should I say, poster child of you've missed the point by idolizing this. And what I mean by that is that Starship Troopers is Antifa. Now, hold on a minute. I know that some may have been triggered by that comment, and that was not my intent. It flew out there. I just had like a millisecond to realize that, oh, that may have come out wrong. And I know usually like my off-field explanation of certain things tend not to have much to do with the videos, but neither are Seth's jokes sometimes. So please indulge in my clarification of things. But if you don't care, you can move on. So Robert A. Heinlein, who wrote Starship Troopers, was basically a man of war, as in like the ship, because he was a lieutenant, whichever pronunciation you want to use of the word in the US Navy in the 1930s. And the guy also, because his family basically partook in any type of war that existed, he got hit with the good old disease lung in that time and was unlisted, removed from his position, and therefore he decided to jump into politics. He got tuberculosis, just to clarify. In there, he would go as a self-described leftist. Now, the reason why I mention that is that it is something that another, perhaps the GOAT of sci-fi, Isaac Asimov, who wrote books like I, Robot or the Foundation series, describe him as, he used another term, a flaming leftist, one that I rarely hear anybody being called that. Asimov will, of course, closely follow his fellow writer's career and has described him as like having a weird shift from being a leftist because he was married to a left-leaning wife to then being a staunch conservative because he then married a right-wing wife. So the power of the pussy. But the point is, because of the event that followed afterward, the Second World War, the nuclear armament in the Cold War, as well as the space race, which affected a lot of his writing, he started to have this kind of view of society that most people don't really agree with anymore. At least I hope that we don't, but a view of that only the strong should have a say at all in what is going on in society. Like anybody who was not willing to serve the country to the point of like giving their lives away should not have a say. Such things as voting should have been limited to those people. And it's kind of weird. It's one of those structures that some will call oligarchy in some old terms, but also some will describe it as being fascism. This dude was spewing things that he himself could not relate to, because he was basically that one guy who, when a veteran is speaking about the horrors and the psychological trauma that they experienced after the war, some guy comes and says, no, that's not what you felt. This is what you actually felt. Like, shut the fuck up, listen to what the veteran has to say. No, like seriously, read the book. It's an entire thing about the fear of China invading and stuff like that. You can even see some of the hints to that in the kind of satirical take that the movie has of it. So obviously the movie went in a different direction. Problem, however, being that, of course, the joke got lost in translation and many ended up viewing that as a movie that promoted you being enlisted. So that's the point about it.
You'll have plenty of time to learn. While many college professors would charge thousands of dollars for a history degree, you can personally experience the horrors of war for the low price of completely free. Just use my link in the description below, or wait till the end of the video for a special offer. Earth Defense Force started as an excuse for Sandlot to reuse assets from other projects. However, in their quest for fast cash, they discovered something: a new market force, the primordial human desire for increasingly dangerous insecticide. Listen, raid is no longer enough. We're living in the Garden of Eden, and the best way to defend it is to burn it to the ground. As such, every EDF game is just the last game, but slightly better. For example, the Ranger can now do this. This franchise is in a constant battle to upstage itself,
and it does.
Surprisingly, it's still working. This game is certifiably insane, in the best sense of the word, because nothing makes sense. So, hop in. We've got aliens to fight. But before you can play, you'll need to pick a class. Here's a simple test to find out the right class for you.
Out of your friends, which are you? Truck freak crazy ass.
If you've never played EDF before, pick the closest thing to normality. For Ranger, every class shares one guiding principle. I can't see anything, and I have no idea what's going on.
Fair.
Thankfully, the Ranger has access to the standard issue EDF windshield wiper, the shotgun, which is only the beginning. EDF is a game of high explosives and higher explosives. C4, why stop there?
You know how people are like, oh, so Battlefield 2042 has, what is it, C5, and you go like, huh, C17. This shit, man, this game has so much stuff. It puts Borderlands to shame. And wait, are there more guns in this than Borderlands 3? I would assume so. Which, of course, Borderlands 3 has an amazing variety of guns. Love that game. The writing, not so much, but the weapons, mwah.
How about C20? There we go. Now, go get him, champ. Much like the currency of Zimbabwe, the explosives of EDF have experienced hyperinflation because I have just unlocked C7. Traditionally, tube-launched missile-based weapons platforms work by putting a rocket in a tube and then firing it out of a tube. However, this is no time for tradition. Reloading is for chumps, so we just cram like 5 in there at the same time. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, aside from small, unprovable changes in our reality. Each time you fire that rocket, Nelson Mandela dies on a different date. Each time you reload, the Berenstein Bears change once again. And each time You hit the target, you do no damage, because this is a post-nerf reality. But
What the fuck? What the hell was that with the Berenstain?
it's okay. Explosions don't even scratch the surface of what a ranger can do. Snipe your enemies from afar. Minefield your enemies from up close. Annoy your team with DNG grenades. Weld the elemental powers of fire, acid, anime, and every
Body
flavor
pillars.
of Kool-Aid. Or the most powerful thing a ranger can do. Change class. Yeah, sorry, I haven't been entirely forthcoming. If you're playing multiplayer, there is no reason to pick Ranger. And if you're playing single player, you know what? I completely respect that.
Dude, of course, how are you going to not... Oh man, it's the best way to experience a story because I want to sit back and enjoy the ridiculous dialogue. Why? Because I've got to admit, after having finished Atomic Heart, I have gotten a new fondness of that one genre of badly dubbed games. Like, you know how some old animes were just given up on? Like a Ghost Story, that one where like the Japanese producer were just like, we're gonna sell it to the West and they can basically turn it into a fucking disaster.
Think of a big black man chasing you! Well, he's not racist.
I guess not. He's only 0.2 seconds faster.
That is my new thing. I recently played Wanted Dead, which is kind of funny because there's a diner in Wanted Dead that is also called Atomic Heart. But like, the fact that some things are impossible to translate and the voice acting, the thing that they say is so bloody ridiculous, but it's so fun. I love that. And you can't waste time sometimes with your friends just sitting there listening to dialogue for like half an hour and they go like, come on dude, we need to finish a quest. Like you can't do that normally, so of course single player is fine.
You do you. Presumably, as a consumer of Japanese entertainment products, no woman is physically present, or else she would save you from your poor decisions, physically punching the copy of Persona 4 out of your hands and freeing you from the path of a child predator.
Oh.
But fear not, EDF allows you to look upon the visage of a woman from a safe distance. Introducing the Wing Diver. If you're a Philistine, you might be upset because they removed her titty window, but I've stared at this brapper for at least 50 man-hours. So imagine my surprise after 10 long years.
Finally got
she's
pants.
finally wearing clothes. Let this be a lesson, fellas. If she says, I'll be ready in 10 minutes, you've got plenty of time. Take a nap, do your taxes, read a book, but for the love of God, do not leave a car running. Trust me, the money you save will be well worth it. Why? You might even save enough to purchase all the DLC. Now, who needs healing? Yes, this is a completely necessary and unavoidable business expense, and I will be deducting it from my taxes. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, video games. The Wing Diver has a jetpack. The propellant is magic.
That was smart. I remember people telling that the original version that Badger had uploaded of his 4.1 video got removed because of assets shown. So yeah, good to cover that with a beautiful face.
Video game jet fuel, which has the non-Euclidean properties of a single Romanian, virtually infinite, and, given the chance, will asexually reproduce to maximum capacity. This also powers her weapons. Now, it may seem restrictive to fly and shoot with the same energy reserve, but don't worry, that's why they come with internal magazines, or at least they used to. But now, some overworked, glue-huffing intern made almost every weapon charge and discharge, which is great for single-shot weapons, but for anything longer than that, it's like...
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Oh, I guess I'm gonna be here for the next 20 minutes. There's no way to know this in advance. It's not a weapon stat. You have to read through the descriptive paragraph for every gun to find out whether it's magazine-based or magazine cringe. Life must be hard in Japan. Father, when I grow up, I want to be a UX designer. You bring dishonor to our family. No son of mine will ever create a good user interface. Get these notions out of your head. Now sit down for dinner. Your mother made your favorite tortured duck penis. Very nutritious. The fencer could be summarized as your motherfucking life ends.
I mean, to be fair, there are lots of Japanese games that have like the weirdest interfaces. Occasionally, I will use my VPN to catch up on Japanese shows. And you've seen how Japanese TV looks like. Like infomercial commercials everywhere. It's gotten better over the years, but still.
30 seconds from now. The Fencer is the polar opposite of a winged diver. He's going to kill you, eventually, given time. But he's slow, very slow. But who cares when you can dual-weld anything? Miniguns, mortars, missiles, melee weapons, shields, whatever you want. Just remember, I lied. He's not slow at all. You get 2 slots for support equipment. So, while the Novice Fencer veers around uncontrollably, the Master Fencer just instant transmissions to where he needs to be. I'm not a very good fencer, because I have brain rot from all the hours I spent playing Air Raider. The Air Raider has guns, but more importantly, he has airstrikes. We're talking howitzers, cannons, bombers, gunners, orbital lasers, bulge lasers, whatever your heart desires. When something renders the game completely unplayable for anyone with screen shake on, you know it's good.
There's nothing better than in the intro sequence of the game when you are guided by this dude who gets eaten halfway. No, like basically like 5 minutes into the introduction after he teaches you how to shoot your guns. You walk into a room where you have, what's it called? The destroyer? Oh, no, the unloader. Yeah, the big orange robot. And you just think to yourself, I'm going to pilot that at some point. And then when you finally acquire that, oh, such a great feeling.
EF is fully aware that griefing teammates by your very presence is a fundamental human right. So now, Air Raider has a third weapon slot, and more importantly, the 150mm cannon fire. This game will inform you the status of every single airstrike in the current airspace. That's the equivalent of telling me, a peaceful opium farmer in Iraq, that there's a Hellfire drone circling above me. Believe me, I already know. But hey, I know that when I'm incarcerated in a padded cell, I'll be comforted by the sweet sound of "This is DE-202. We're flying to cover the ground units again." Who you calling a ground unit? I'm taking to the skies. Never mind. The Air Raider has a wide array of vehicles to choose from, provided they haven't already been stolen by the Ranger. But I digress. Here's a quick warning on handling. Every motorcycle is completely unusable. The depth crawler comes in clutch for underground missions, but you might need a barf bag. And finally, the armored vehicle grape is what happens when you sand your tires for aesthetic effect. Coincidentally, the grape is the strongest vehicle in the entire game. Speed versus armor isn't really a debate when a pack of spiders can unwind the fucking fabric of reality in about 3 seconds.
Okay, that's fair.
The Air Raider is described as a support class because I support my teammates into the afterlife. You know what? No, I'm tired of these friendly fire jokes. I no longer wish to be this person, this agent of chaos. It's time to turn a new leaf. Deploy the Roombas. Every class has lock-on weapons, which reduce the risk of friendly fire. And Air Raider has a suite of tools to make them even better. Most of these you'll use once, realize they're absolute trash, and never touch them again. But how do you get these weapons in the first place? Boxes. Just like your unconscious roommate who's filled with delicious kidneys, every alien is a veritable pinata of goodies. Health pickups restore your health. Weapon pickups give you weapons, depending on a dice roll for some completely esoteric loot table, and armor pickups give you +1 max health permanently. This system is garbage. It sucks. Nobody likes it. It makes 0 sense.
Mod of
but
RNGs.
EDF players aren't attracted to games that make sense.
No.
They're attracted to drywall and the taste of a homeless man's adrenaline as you chase him through the streets of New York. These new unlocks allow you to create a wide variety of team builds based on the situation. Finding out which situation you're in is a simple 2-step process. Do whatever you did last time and get annihilated by some horseshit. One brainstorming session later, and you'll figure it out. Rinse and repeat until, much like my clothing, the unending tide erodes away your very being. Until you are no longer a man, but a lifeless husk, driven by spite to beat just one more mission. This is especially true of a DLC, which replaces gameplay with cock and ball torture play. To aid your team's camaraderie in these dark times, EDF has the most extensive voice command system you will ever see in your entire life.
Oh, the chance.
Have voice acting.
Mother freaking sea shanties for... This is what I would have hoped if freaking Ubisoft pulled themselves together and actually made a good pirate game. Just like they had in Black Flag with the sea shanties, you can just go on a song with your mates. Even if you're playing a single player, it's very enthralling to me.
Remember, we might have 50-foot cruise missiles, but the greatest weapon of all is hope. When the situation is at its most dire, it's on you to ignite the fires of hope with song.
Let's go!
Oh,
We are the Alpha Team with passion and camaraderie. We are the Alpha Team with passion and camaraderie.
The game makes zero sense. Surprisingly, so does the story. This is a universe where everyone eats glue, including the aliens. However, it is imperative that you understand the plot. So, allow me to give you a quick rundown. So, first you're a civilian, but then giant ants show up, so they give you a firearm. But when you get to the surface, it turns out there's an all-out alien invasion. News commentators speculate on which country could be responsible, as if it's already well known that Russia or North Korea has like a few thousand battalions of ants ready to go. More importantly, you need to get to safety. Your sergeant is terrible at directions, so wherever you go, you're never safe. Suddenly, a new type of alien gets deployed. To paraphrase the game dialogue, I can't shoot them. They're just like us. And then you see what they're referring to, and clearly it is indistinguishable from humanity. Look, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. My God. It's a featherless biped. The resemblance is uncanny. Then these guys get deployed and nobody says anything. Who's getting the best head? Post your comments in WeChat. And remember, Chinese Taipei belongs to the CCP. A giant battle takes place in Beijing, where it's rumored that humanity has some kind of super weapon. Also, Godzilla shows up. This is completely unrelated to the plot. Beijing defeats the invasion and reveals their super weapon. Pollution. No, I'm not making that up. It's pollution. Aliens are weak to air pollution, and their blood contains microbes that scrub the air of all pollutants. Late game also introduces green ants that eat concrete and digest microplastic. Another kaiju shows up. Luckily, we have a giant mech for that. It turns out the aliens are working with giant bees.
Oh my God, what's the name of the turtle one from Godzilla? Angorius? Oh man, I can't remember it.
I have a small aneurysm and get back to writing this review. Science Lady gets desperate and turns to mythology. Apparently, ancient humans were created when God descended in an egg-shaped ship. She gets immediately gaslit by the radio operator, telling her, that's ridiculous. We live in a real world, not fantasy. Get back to work.
Egg theory.
Also, we need to find the egg-shaped command ship and blow it up. A Pacific Rim bar fight ensues for reasons unknown. Then, I spent 3 missions killing a walking fortress. I forgot why. Probably because my blood alcohol was high enough to wipe out a family of 4. Or my mind was preoccupied because you shoot the mothership and it turns into a biblically accurate angel. And then God, capital G, descends to Earth. And what do? They try to arrest him. EDF tries to arrest God, and God resists arrest.
It's the best part of the game and is literally the last mission. Oh my God. And the comments of all of it is fucking ridiculous, dude.
What's with that giant?
It's the pilot of the command ship. Take it under arrest.
God. That is God.
God? That's a primer god for all I know. We don't need it.
I will load up the game and like splice a little bit of that intro to the fight in there. It's so dumb, but it's so freaking fun.
So, naturally, we have to murder God. Yes, you kill God, because, after all, this is a Japanese role-playing game. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. And then, a New Vegas-style epilogue plays to tell you that 90% of the world's population is fucking dead. As for the remaining 10%, they're in India. Please remember, this is the same nation where a politician tried to prove the safety of the Ganges River by drinking its water.
Yeah, he was hospitalized.
He was rushed to the ICU. After hearing this, I hope you understand what I mean when I say that EDF is a parallel universe where Down syndrome is normal, and chromosomes work like Pokemon. You collect them all, and they battle for dominance. To close off, I'd like to share a story. In elementary school, for some reason, they put a special needs kid in the same class as us. He really wanted to play with an action figure we had, but we didn't let him because, obviously, he's going to destroy it. So he shoved it up his ass. And now no one could play with it because no one wanted to. And also, we were really superstitious at the time. We thought that touching poop is how you catch AIDS. And for a pair of 8-year-olds, we were kinda half right. The homosexual apple does not fall far from the homosexual tree. EDF, unintentionally, reveals a deep-seated truth about the human condition. Aliens, if you ever dare invade our planet, we're gonna destroy it first. Whoops. A 50mm Kampfwagen Kanonenshell just hit my neighbor. I know that because I've been playing Enlisted this entire time. And I need help. Join for free and use my link for free days of premium time and several orders for troops and weapons. Where are we dropping? Anywhere. Enlisted is available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation with cross-platform support. I'll see you on the front lines. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of a Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. Except, I haven't had an opportunity to charge you, but that will soon change. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
Biblically accurate Seth is actually not the wrong thing to say, because there is a character in the Bible called Seth, the third child of Adam and Eve. So yeah, it's a thing. I like the Genghis thing at the end. It's quite terrible because it's one of those things that I never understand about us. Like as humans, like we have these things, these strong beliefs in certain things, but we're never willing to let it go despite the fact it's going to hurt us. By the way, we call it Ganges in Danish, which is why I may pronounce it wrongly. That river is just filled with the worst thing ever. There's trash being thrown in there, but at the same time it's considered as being a holy one. Because if my memory serves me right, the founder of Sikhism found enlightenment in it, and therefore it's considered holy. Yet this politician was trying to do that stunt and got hospitalized in Delhi like 2 days after that. Terrible. But regardless of that, Earth Defense Force 5, amazing game. You got the chance, play it. Perhaps I'll be playing that online. I'm getting back into streaming. I haven't done that in months since I was being a good parent, not spending too much time online. But if you want to join me in some games on Twitch and or on YouTube, I will try to do that as well. You are very welcome. But that said, please do go and subscribe to SsethZeetach and like that very video. And of course, if you like this one, hit that like button and of course subscribe if you want to see some more. That said, see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.